Hi, this is Coral at Weaving Through Homeschool Life, and I decided I wanted to show you how to bind your own books, and I am doing the camera forward so you can see, so I can't see what's going on. But how to bind your own books. I quite like having the spiral binding. Makes my life so much easier to be able to just flip open, say this is where we are, and so once I know I'm going to use a curriculum, I cut off the binding and I spiral bind my books. So what I have here is a guillotine. I do not own this. I am lucky to be married to the librarian, the director of our libraries, and so he brought this home from work for me to use. So I am going to carefully use this guillotine, much more carefully than last time when I slid open my finger, but yeah, I'm never going to hear the end of that from him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 3-cut thing on my book. So I opened it to the middle, and I am going to come in here. Let's see how sharp that is. Be very, very careful with the guillotine. I'm going to come in here, make sure it's right on the spine, and I am going to cut right down the center of the pages. This is not an easy thing to do. Make sure your fingers are out of the way. And I just cut my book straight in half. So now I can actually see the binding glue, and that will make the rest of this easier. Much, much easier. So what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to, if I had a more professional guillotine, I could probably do this all at once, but I'm worried about the pages shifting. Let's see. I'm trying to line it up against the ruler here and see if I can get it. And I don't know if I can. No, it slid. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this half in half again so that I can actually keep it straight as I go. And I'm trying to line this up and watch my fingers. Keep the book open at the same time. This is actually much easier to do if the book has been used before, but it is what it is. So we have used this book, we just haven't pressed the pages open really well yet. And I'm trying to be extra careful because slicing your fingers or your thumb open is not fun. Okay, there we go. I got it apart. So what I'm going to do is line this up, and I'm going to remember exactly where I lined it up to so that I can line every set of pages up to exactly the same point so that they're exactly the same width when it comes to cutting. Straighten these out a little bit. They slid on me. This is where the more professional book slicers would be nice, but since I don't have one and this is free, there we go. I got that part done. And next section, lining it up to exactly the same point. That wasn't exactly the same point, obviously. Where did I do it to? 21.2 centimeters. 21.2 centimeters. Come on, book, stop sliding. our goal is just to cut off all the binding glue, because that stuff is really hard on the other thing. I'm going to slice this one down right here. Now 21.2 centimeters. I want all my pages to come out the same size. Let's see if I can hold this better this time. Oh, I did it. That one came out really nicely. And then the last section. And 21.2 centimeters. All right, there we go. Nice cuts. Nice and even. Now we're going to move the guillotine out of the way and lock it, because even though I locked the kids out, that doesn't mean they're going to stay out. Now I'm going to pull up my coil binder and make sure you can see that. Okay, here is my coil binder. This is the TrueBind TBS20. It's a 4-to-1 pitch coil binding machine, and I've had it about 2.5 years. So this one only reasonably does about 10 pages at a time. I'm going to make sure I'm lined up properly for where I want my holes to be. So let's see, this is a letter size book, so I think I'm going to just take it to their automatic line. They're measuring of a 11-inch paper, and then back here I can change the pitch. I want it at the narrower pitch, but I always pull that out and push it back in to make sure, because it's a pain when you do it wrong. So I'm going to start front to back and just push this down. Holes in my page. Push this down. There's my holes. Probably do a few more than I am doing, but the more you push in, the harder it is to pull down, and it does have a limit on what it can rationally do. So this machine I bought about 2.5 years ago, I said, and I think it cost it's probably $105 when I bought it. When I priced it out for one of my friends this couple months ago, I think it was still running about $105 or $110 for this exact model, which is kind of cool. Means that they don't think it's losing its value, at least. But it has definitely been worth the money for me. I bind so much stuff, it's actually kind of hilarious. So after I finish punching these, I'll pull up my binding coils, and you'll see how obsessed I am with binding my things. So there's that one, and this will probably all work. No, that's too thick. It caught as it's shoved in, and that will make it really hard to punch. There we go. That's in. Last set. So what I'm binding is the All About Spelling Level 2. my kids breeze through level 1, which I knew they would, but I still wanted to make sure the program was a good fit before I cut off the binding, because All About Spelling has this awesome incentive program, whatever, where if you decide it's not working for you, you can return it. But I kind of don't think that they're going to return this, but they would return this. So we have our holes in our book. Now we need to bind it. We need to put our coils in. So checking to see what you can see here. We have extra fine coils. I think this is the 1/4 inch size. It might be 5/16. This is a 3/8 inch. No, this is a 5/16. This is a 1/4. This is a 5/16. This is 3/8. This is 7/8, and then I got insane, and I was supposed to get 1 1/4, and I accidentally got 1 3/4. These are hilarious. They're like monster yo-yos. So this book, out of the sizes I have, the 3/8 is the best size for what I'm doing. So then what I'm going to do is make sure you can see first. I'm going to stick this in here and figure out why I have an unpunched section. Ooh, one of my pages here bent over when I punched it. So I'm just going to slide that back in the machine and punch that properly so that I can bind this. Okay, there we go. I almost lined it up exactly right. It's good enough. It's got the hole in it now. So now I gotta stack all this up again neatly. And now I have that. Just making sure. Okay, so I'm gonna take my coil, and these coils have a flat end and a somewhat pointed end. It's pretty much the same difference, but I think there's a difference. There probably isn't, but I think there is. So I just start it through and twist, twist, twist. So I have friends who have friends, you know, because we all have those kind, who actually own a binding shop or a printing shop that does book bindings. And they said that you can buy the binding machines with the spiral coiler on the top, but the friends said they will not allow their employees to use them because if this doesn't line up exactly right as you're spiraling it along, it can actually destroy the pages that are printed if it's pushed hard enough, and the spiral binder would push it. So that is why I didn't buy that, and I am being interrupted. What? Sure.
On the iPad?
No, I'm using the iPad. Go out. All right, this is what it's called being a homeschool mom. See, I'm hiding in the schoolroom on a Saturday afternoon with my cream soda that I intend to open, but I haven't yet because I just haven't. And my kids don't know I have it, but I'm trying to hide in here to do it. So, almost done. Sometimes you gotta come wind it from the bottom to get a little bit more up into the top. With the larger the coil, the longer this takes to spin it around, because you've got to get the extra distance up here for it to work with. And I actually do end up going like this a lot. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, you can see it good. Because this works fairly nicely in pushing it in and through at the same time. Almost there. So this is not a slow process, but if you really like having bound book or spiral bound books like I do, It's definitely worth not paying somebody else to do it when you have like 50 books you do this to every year. I forgot to get out my clips. So, my machine came with these lovely clamps. Not all of them do, but mine did. What?
Can you use the books again?
The battery's dead. You'll just have to wait. Use the TV. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it so that the eye of this clamp is closest to me, and so I'm holding it at the back. Then what I'm going to do, it says to go in the middle. I like to go right on the side. Yeah, push it together and twist. And what that did, there we go, is make that nice crimp right there to keep it closed. Then you're going to flip it 90 degrees, 180 degrees, so that you're in the same position, but on the front of the book now. And same thing. Hold it closed, crimp it, and there we go. Nicely bound book. I'm actually going to twist that crimp a little bit more for my liking. I just lost hold of it. I just like it so that it doesn't come out as easy. So there we go. Nice professional looking spiral bound book done at home. Now this is ready for my daughter's next spelling lesson. She's been breezing through these. There we go. So we're ready to go. I'll just, when we get to it, I'll just be holding my book like this. I can hold the book. It makes it so much easier. No more bent bindings, ripped bindings. It's so much nicer for me. One thing I was going to show you is that you can get report covers from, I bought all my stuff on Amazon. You can get report covers on Amazon. The clear ones and the nice textured black ones. So what I do when I make my own PDF books is I print the cover in cardstock of whatever my book is, and then I print the rest of the pages on my regular copy paper. And then I put one of the clear pages on the front, one of the black ones on the back, and it turns out looking like this. I have Right Starts Math for my kids, and because I have so many kids, I got the digital version so that I can print as many copies as I want to for my own children. That's their use. So I put a clear cover on the front, hard one on the back. This is my kindergartner's book, and she hashes everything, and it survived the first month of school at least. So there we go. So again, this is Coral at Weaving Through Homeschool Life. This was my How I Bind Everything. Have a good day.